Over the past few months, we've been detailing for you how many Republican-led state houses across the country have enacted changes to voting rights laws that could affect many traditionally Democratic voters to keep them from voting. But now the Obama campaign has started to push back. The fighting's going on now. The Wall Street Journal reports today that the Obama campaign has paired up with many state Democratic parties and other grassroots organizations to educate voters and to challenge these new laws. Ohio is the first state where the Obama camp has had luck pushing back. The campaign won a temporary suspension of Ohio's new law, which would have shortened the window for early voting. You see it there, by more than half for in-person voting and nearly half for absentee voting by mail. So will the Obama campaign's new counter strategy work? We have joining us right now Senator Sherrod Brown. He's the Democratic senator from the state of Ohio. Also joining me right now is Cynthia Tucker. Will be on in a minute. Let me go to you, Senator. Tell me what's going on in Ohio in terms of what the Republicans were up to and what you've been able to do to stop them.
Sure. First of all, congratulations on your JFK book. That's exciting. I heard you on the radio talking yesterday. Well, last fall, the elections, as you know, were about lost jobs, as they should have been, because people in Ohio and every other place almost in the country are very anxious about the economic situation. But since the election, it's all been in state after state, and Ohio especially, they've gone after bargaining rights, collective bargaining rights. That'll be on the ballot next week in Ohio, because you can do what's called a referendum passed by the legislature if you get enough signatures and if the voters vote that way. We're doing the same on voting rights, and they went after worker rights, they went at bargaining rights, they went after voter rights, they went after women's rights in Ohio. And so the second petition an issue will be on the ballot a year from now is on voter rights. And there were lots and lots of volunteers. The state party was involved. A lot of Obama volunteers were involved in the state, and the president was involved. But mostly it was a grassroots effort in Ohio to sound the alarm. And I would just invite people to help us sound the alarm in Ohio and nationally. Come to SherrodBrown.com, come to my website, sign up to help us sound the alarm about this rollback in voting rights. We haven't seen this in this country, I think, in 30 or 40 years, where after we've made this progress, and Republicans were helpful in these better, more progressive voting rights a decade ago, and now they want to roll them back because it's all part of this ideological mission they have.
Well, let's get it straight in terms of the facts. Ohio, they were trying to shorten the number of days that you could vote ahead of time, and also shorten the number of votes you could offer by mail or in person. You've now got that on the ballot, so they have to pass affirmatively next November a ballot measure to shorten the number of days you can vote. Why would voters ever vote to limit the amount of times they could vote, or how often they could show up to vote?
Well, because I don't think they will in the end, but Republicans will spend a lot of money next year in the November election when it's actually on the ballot. The signatures were gathered this fall. They were gathered too late to go on the ballot this year because the bill was passed late. The new law, the new rollback of voter rights doesn't happen until after November 2012 if the voters vote that way. But I think you're right. I think most voters are going to think, why would we roll back voter rights? And, you know, the Republicans have created this myth around the country that there's been vote fraud committed by individual voters, voting twice, using fake ID, things like that. Voters, the real vote fraud in this country, when it happens, hasn't happened that often, but when it happens, it's by Jimmy in a computer, it's by transportation of ballots. Voters don't vote 5 times to try to turn an election. It's too likely. You're too likely to get caught, and you're not going to change an election by voting multiple numbers of times or by voting under a different name. So the real vote fraud is not that. The Republicans want, you know, they've had a campaign, you know this, Chris, for years, where they try to depress voter turnout in low-income areas, especially minority areas. That's what they're trying to do here, and it's outrageous. That's why I'm encouraging people to come on SherrodBrown.com and sign up and be involved fighting back in every state where they're trying this.
Thanks so much. It's great having you on. Senator Sherrod Brown, Democrat from Ohio. Thank you very much. Anyway, joining us right now to talk about the Obama campaign's efforts in this regard and trying to prevent any changes in voting rights laws around the country is Cynthia Tucker, Pulitzer Prize-winning political columnist and now visiting professor at the University of Georgia. Cynthia, so much. It means to have, I reversed my sentence. It means so much to have you on. Get a little tired these days. Let me ask you about the everybody knows what's going on, right? This isn't complicated. When you shut the window down, you reduce it down by half of when you can vote ahead of time. Because I'm on the road covering elections, I have to go vote in Rockville.
Right.
And they have a little office you go into. You ask for your ballot and you vote ahead of time. Some people do it by mail. And if you can't do it, oftentimes you can't vote because you're going to be out of town.
Well, Chris, it happens that I remember a time when Republicans liked early voting.
Yes, the people who went on vacation trips.
They liked it because they thought it served their middle-class constituents. When did they become unhappy with early voting? After 2008. The Obama campaign, we all remember, was extremely well organized, and one of the things they did was to encourage their voters to go to the polls early. They did. After Obama took advantage of early voting, suddenly Republicans say, oops, need to cut back that early voting.
Yeah, you know why I think this is getting to be important? It isn't just about good government. I've been getting to think over the last 2 weeks, but my own brain calculating these things is Obama will still probably win by a squeaker. He's not going to win by a landslide.
Yes.
It's too tough, the economy.
Yes.
So he's going to win by picking up Ohio, we just talked about, or holding on to North Carolina. But the Republicans, for a while there this summer, looked like they could pull up a big landslide. Things were so bad, they're going to win big. I think that's probably not going to happen. So it's a squeaker in either direction next year.
Exactly.
And that's why picking up a few points by restricting voting access, they can squeak it their way.
Absolutely. All you need in the battleground states is to shave off a few votes of college students, for example.
You tell them they can't vote on campus.
Exactly, or tell them you can't use your college ID. It has their photo.
Yeah.
It's an official photo ID.
Good enough for booze.
But they have said you can't use it to vote. So you shave off a few votes in battleground states, and it could turn the election their way.